Hey, welcome to another fingernail fixer video. For this video, we are going to do some e-filing, and I'm going to put this in the e-file Chronicles because it is going over some different bits. You know, when I tell someone really that what bit they use comes down to personal preference, they get a little frustrated with me, and so I'm actually going to show you why everyone, when you are asking, oh, what bit should I use for this or what bit should I use for that, I'm going to show you why they say it's personal preference. So for this first one, if you're using sanding bands, I highly recommend these cool little self-ejecting sanding band bits. You can get them from either Coupa or Profiles Backstage has them. And this sanding band bit is one from Profiles Backstage. It's the medium. And my clients love these because they're purple. So that's easy enough to make my clients happy. They come in light, medium, and coarse so that I can choose them depending on what I'm doing. The coarse is handy if you're debulking enhancements. I really like the medium for removing gel polish. And so this gel polish has got to go. I've got 4 fingers to work on because the thumb I am pretty awkward with, so I don't really want to do that under camera. So I'm going to use these 4 different bits to do these 4 different fingers for you under camera the best I can. And this is the Atwood Mellow Yellow. It's more of kind of a cone or football shape. This is the 3-in-1 from Coupa. And if you have seen the interview that I did with Coupa from the Premier Orlando, if not, I'll drop the link in the caption for you. The 3-in-1 is basically a combination of 3 different bits into one bit. And so it's a little rounded here at the top. It doesn't have that sharp edge. And it's got 3 different bits going on here. And so there's some placement tricks to that. And then I have the Tulip from Profiles, which again is purple. They're so good with the purple. And I like this one for gel polish removal if you've got an enhancement under there. I use this one over my clients that have Jimmy Gel. It's really handy to just quickly zip the gel polish off the top of the Jimmy Gel. And my clients, of course, love how beautiful it looks when it's spinning. So we're going to do all 3 of those, plus the sanding band, so that you can see why it's personal preference, and I'll kind of chat about the differences between the 3 or the 4, as you will, as I'm using them. So let's get this kicked on. I'll move my wipes out of the way a little bit. So we'll start over here. And when you're using a barrel style bit, such as the sanding band or the 3-in-1, you want to think of your nail as being divided into 3 zones going up and down. So we would use this side of the bit on this side of the nail, the center of the bit on the center of the nail, and that side of the bit on that side of the nail. And so you'll pull the client's skin out of the way. And if you're a beginner like me, it's ideal to go from back to front, or from skin to free edge, or skin to extension edge. And you want to kind of move side to side so that you're not staying in the same place for too long. It's also really important that you're just letting the e-file rest in your hand. You're not gripping it like a pencil. Just let it rest in your hand, because if you're putting any pressure, you're using it a little too aggressively. And it's pretty tricky for me to get back here on myself. And so I usually hand file that just because I have a really high natural arch, and so it's tricky for me to get back in there without hitting my skin. So I will generally hand file that, is why I'm leaving that, because it's tricky for me to get that without hitting my skin, because I can't really hold that skin out of the way and get the bit in there with only one hand. So that's why I'm leaving that behind. It's also really tricky to hold my skin out of the way on this side and get down in there. Another thing that you can do, whether it's on yourself or on a client, is turn your e-file off. Let me just pull this out of here so you can see what I'm doing. Turn your e-file off, put it in reverse, and then turn your e-file back on like you normally would. And instead of going the normal direction, you can go backwards to get that side where it's difficult for you to go in your normal direction. You could also, since you're going backwards, go this direction to get back against there. The trick is to make sure that your bit is parallel to the nail so that you don't dig a little groove in. So those are a couple tricks as far as that goes. And just to keep the video from getting insanely long, I'm not going to do that on all the nails on the video, because this video isn't really about the file techniques, it's about showing you the different bits. So I like to just kind of stick the tip of my file in my whisper to pull any excess dust off before I change the bit. Let's give the tulip a shot. And this was the tulip from Profiles, and I will link and remind you of what all the bits were in the caption. So just look down below to see what these are. And this one, I end up using a lot of the center of the bit and this back, because as you can see when it's spinning, this back has a really defined line, which I find really handy. If I turn the nail this way, I find it really handy that I can hold their skin back and come down that line and get really close, because I can see where that line is. And you can see how pretty it is when it's spinning. My clients absolutely love that. So it's really easy to just kind of come in, and you can see that it just pulls that off nice and quickly. So if you have like a gel or a liquid and powder or builder in a bottle gel, whatever gel you're using or liquid and powder, any enhancement under your gel polish, this bit is fabulous for pulling the gel polish off really quickly. The only tricky thing is you want to keep that little ball piece covered. It's nice because it doesn't get too close to the skin, but it also doesn't get right in that little edge if they have high edges of skin on the sides. So you almost need something else to clean up on that one side, unless you're really good at flipping your hand around. And really, no more than it leaves. It usually just leaves a teeny tiny, as you can see, it usually just leaves a teeny tiny little bit in the corner. Because since it has that rounded piece, I'm pretty comfortable taking it like this on my clients to get that at the back. And so usually all I have left are just a few tiny spots along the one side from that rounded piece. Because since this side piece has that cool edge, I can really see where I'm getting. to come down that side. And since I can't hold my skin down on this side, I'm going to quit messing with that because I don't want to hit my skin. On a client, it's really easy to hold that skin out of the way and get in there and zip that skin, or zip that nail, that gel polish right off with this bit. And again, it's totally personal preference. And you can see now when I'm using these why it's personal preference. Because it's how you hold your e-file, it's the shape of their nails. And sometimes, even though I'm doing the same service, I might use a different bit because a different client has a different shape of nail. Let's do the 3-in-1. Something there on me. So the 3-in-1 is one that you're going to use the 3 zones of the bit to the 3 zones of the nail. So I would literally just come in here and do, so I'm not really going to have to move the handpiece as much. Because I'm using the zones of the bit. And if your bit does that little kickback thing, you need to turn the speed up. You and your bit are not moving at the same speed. And again, I can't hold my skin back on this side as effectively. So I'm going to leave that so that I don't accidentally catch my skin. And because this has that rounded edge, you should be able to hold the client's skin back and come right in and get that side. And then same thing along the back. You should be able to very gently make sure that your piece is parallel and come in along that back. It's just really important that you're making sure your piece is parallel. And so there's your 3-in-1. And then lastly, have the Mellow Yellow from Atwood. And this one has just a finer tip on it than the Tulip. So if you want more of a tip, if you want it to come to a finer point, this is handy. So this could be good if your clients have like a lot more pudge on the sides, if their fingers come up a little higher. This one is really handy for that. Or if you are doing gel polish over a really thin layer, something like Boost, and you don't want to go through the gel polish as quickly because the layer that you're putting it over isn't as thick. This is fabulous for going through really easily. And you can get in closer because it is a little more pointed. Just as with everything, keep moving. Don't stay still. Don't grip your file too hard. And I hope this video helped you understand why everyone is constantly saying, oh, which bits you use are personal preference, because now you've seen me use 4 different style and type of bit, all to do the same thing. I'm removing gel polish off the top of Jimmy Gel. And remember, that side I'm leaving because it's difficult to pull my skin down. I need to really get in there and angle this weird, and I can't get to that on camera. So, and for those of you that are e-filing your thumbs, you do your own nails at home, you can put your file on reverse and go like this. Or forward, depending on which way you're doing it. So, just a heads up. I hope this helped. Definitely leave questions, comments, tips, etc. in the comments below, and I will leave links and more information on everything I've used and talked about in the caption. So make sure you check out all of that. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your time.